Election Commission issues detailed guidelines for elections in the states and the union territories amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The action will be taken against those who violate the rules. Rajiv Kumar, retired IAS officer of 1984 batch, appointed as the new election commissioner after Ashok Lavasa resigns. Flood situation remains grim in several parts of Bihar, affecting over 81 lakh people across 16 districts. Rail traffic restored on Samastipur-Darbhanga rail section. Red alert for extremely heavy rainfall in the 6 districts of Madhya Pradesh issued. Recovery rate from COVID-19 rises to 74.3% in the country. Over 21.5 lakh patients recovered. COVID-19 cases worldwide rise to over 2.28 crore with 7.96 lakh deaths. The WHO extends hopes to recover from the world's corona pandemic in less than 2 years, says the pandemic could be controlled sooner than the Spanish flu of 1918. Over 2.3 crore corona cases worldwide, more than 8 lakh people lose their lives. Spanish club Sevilla won the Europa League title. In the title match, Sevilla defeated Inter Milan 3-2 in a thrilling match. This is the record 6th Europa League title of Sevilla. Ganesh Chaturthi festival being celebrated today with full devotion and enthusiasm across the country. The Delhi government imposes a ban on the public worshipping of the idols in public places and celebrating at the community level due to the COVID-19 pandemic. President and Vice President extend best wishes to people on Ganesh Chaturthi today. Hello and good morning. You're watching Doordarshan News with me, Nancy Kohli. A top story: the Election Commission of India has approved the broad guidelines for the conduct of the general or by-elections during the COVID-19 period. Voters will be provided gloves while using the electronic voting machines, and the COVID-19 patients in quarantine will be allowed to vote at the last hour of the polling day. A separate set of guidelines would also be issued for voters who are residing in the areas notified as containment zones. Meanwhile, the Commission has also decided to hold the by-elections to the one casual vacancy in the Council of the States from Uttar Pradesh. The Election Commission will issue notifications on the 25th of this month. While the last date of making nominations is 1st September, the date of polling is 11th September. The counting and results will also be declared on the 11th. Now, the salient features of the guidelines issued by the Election Commission include that for all the persons, every person shall wear a face mask during every election-related activity. At the entry of the hall, room or premises used for election purposes, thermal scanning of all persons shall be carried out. Sanitizers, soap and water shall be made available. Social distancing shall also be maintained as per COVID-19 guidelines. Adequate number of vehicles shall also be mobilized for the movement of polling personnel and security personnel to ensure the compliance of the COVID-19 guidelines. The nodal health officer shall also be designated for the state, the district and the assembly constituency to oversee the COVID-19 related arrangements, and preventive measures during the shall also be taken during the entire electoral process. Former Finance Secretary Rajiv Kumar has been appointed as the new Election Commissioner. He is a 1984 batch retired IAS officer. The Legislative Department of the Ministry of Law and Justice issued notification on Friday regarding the appointment of Rajiv Kumar. He will replace Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa, who will be free of the charge on the 31st of this month. Ashok Lavasa had sent in his resignation on Tuesday. And let's now go across to our correspondent Vishal Barrister, who is joining us with more inputs on the guidelines. Vishal, good morning. So clearly, of course, as far as guidelines are concerned, keeping the safety of the people, keeping the safety of the voters in mind is very important, and that's clearly being kept in mind while framing these guidelines and social distancing, all the COVID-19 related protocols to be followed.
Well, absolutely. A very good morning to you, Nancy. The guidelines is much focused on the social distancing and on the safety of the voters as far as the candidates are concerned, as well as the candidates are concerned. Let me tell you that this time only two persons would be allowed for filing of nominations along with the candidate, and only three persons for door-to-door campaigning. The number of vehicles used by the candidate has also been reduced from 10 to 5. And our sources are telling us that this time, keeping in mind the social distancing, the number of polling booths could be raised to 1 lakh. Last time it was 77,000. So 33,000 additional polling booths could be raised this time. And all precautions are being made. Though not, there is no clarity right now about the digital campaigning and virtual rallies. Parties like RJD and CPM, they are averse to the digital campaigning. But people believe that if digital campaigning is allowed, then it would be very good because the pandemic is spreading taken fast, and it would provide the much needed social distancing. So it is going to be a litmus test not only for the election commission but also for the authorities of the state and the people of the state, because people of the Bihar state, because in the pandemic they would be coming out and exercising their right to franchise. So it is going to be
Right.
a big challenge for both the voters and the election department.
Okay. All right, Vishal, thank you very much for joining us for the moment and putting these developments into perspective for us. Thanks very much. And moving on now to the flood situation in Bihar, which is still grim, although the flood water has receded from some localities in Muzaffarpur and Darbhanga. Over 81 lakh population spread over 130 blocks of 16 districts are still facing the wrath of floods. Over 5,000 people have taken shelter in 6 relief camps in Khagadia and Samastipur. In Darbhanga, the water has partially receded from 40 panchayats, but 180 panchayats are still marooned in the district. The situation has also improved in Muzaffarpur and Samastipur. Relief and rescue operations are being carried out on a war footing. As many as 371 community kitchens are being run, through which about 280,000 people are being provided cooked food. The rail traffic has also been restored on Samastipur-Darbhanga rail section of the East Central Railways, which was closed for the last 28 days due to floods. The divisional railway manager has said that in traffic on this rail section was suspended since 24 July due to spate in Bagmati river water on rail bridge number 16 between Hayaghat and Talwada station.
समस्तीपुर दरभंगा के बीच स्थित ब्रिज नंबर 16 पर पानी का लेवल हाई होने की वजह से 24 जुलाई से इस सेक्शन में ट्रेन का परिचालन बंद था। अब पानी का स्तर नीचे आने से यहां पर पूर्णतः ट्रेन का परिचालन कल से आरंभ हो जाएगा। यहां पर आज सुबह 8:30 बजे गुड्स ट्रेन के परिचालन के लिए इसको चालू कर दिया गया था तथा शाम को 6 बजे से यह मेल एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन के लिए भी सेक्शन ओपन कर दिया गया है। इससे यात्रियों को अपने गंतव्य स्थान पर पहुंचने में सुविधा मिलेगी।
Moving on now, the Met Department has issued a red alert for extremely heavy rainfall in 6 districts of Madhya Pradesh. Extremely heavy rainfall is also very likely at the isolated places in Hoshangabad, Jabalpur, Betul, Narsinghpur, Sioni and Harda districts. Apart from that, the Met Department has also issued an orange alert for very heavy rainfall at isolated places in 12 districts including Vidisha, Ujjain, Chindwara and Panna. The warnings are valid till today morning. The state is receiving heavy rain since Friday morning, and according to Met Department, the monsoon was active in the entire state in the last 36 hours. A similar situation is also expected in the next 2 days. The state government has also instructed the district collectors to take appropriate steps to ensure that the flood and waterlogging conditions do not arise in view of rain alerts. Life in many districts has been affected due to heavy downpour. The water level of many rivers is also increasing. And in Maharashtra, Mumbai, Thane and Navi Mumbai have received moderate to heavy rainfall in the last 12 hours in a range of 70 to 100 millimeters. The cloud over Konkan region has reduced, but there are intense echoes over Navi Mumbai and the Mumbai suburb. The Met Department has said the satellite image indicates dense clouds remains over parts of North Madhya Maharashtra adjoining Marathwada. The Met Department has issued orange warning for Vidarbha region for the next 48 hours. And let's now go across to our correspondent Aditya Shrivastava, who is joining us from Bhopal, and also Yogesh Sheetal joining us from Mumbai. Good morning to both of you. Aditya, if I can come to you first, situation there continues to be challenging and grim in the wake of the heavy rains there continuously taking place in Madhya Pradesh. What's it looking like this morning?
Good morning, Nancy. Now the situation is under control in Indore and Bhopal, but we can say the local administration of Indore, Collector Manish Singh, Member of Parliament Shankar Lalwani, and DIG Arina Nanchari visiting those places which are facing waterlogging problem, and same condition in Bhopal. Local administration comes on field and visiting the places which are facing waterlogging issues. Not only 6 districts red alert, not only 12 districts orange alert, rest of the districts facing yellow alert. Met Department also released yellow alert for rest of the districts. State government also gave instructions to the local administration to take immediate action and take necessary action according to the situation. But yes, in Indore, 197 millimeter rain reported since last 24 hours, and in Bhopal, 179 millimeter rain reported in from last 24 hours, and in Sagar also around 50 millimeter rain reported in Sagar. So we can say the flood situation may also created in some of the places of Madhya Pradesh. Especially in Hoshangabad region, Vidisha, Raisen, Jabalpur, most of the rivers of Madhya Pradesh is flowing up over the mark.
Okay. All right, Aditya, request you to please continue being with us. Let's go back now to Yogesh Sheetal. Yogesh, the situation there also challenging in Mumbai as well. What are you picking up from the Met Department sources for today?
For today, there is an orange warning in Mumbai, Thane, Palghar, and also Ratnagiri. For tomorrow, there is a orange warning in Palghar, but rest of the area that I said, like Mumbai, Thane, and Ratnagiri, there is yellow warning. So as of now, what we have been witnessing here in Mumbai from Thursday, Friday, and also today, rains continuous since we are witnessing here in Mumbai, and there's definitely disruption of some services, especially services to municipalities, and also the local traffic services that are there are some issues they are facing because of expected water logging in low-lying areas, and also some other factors. Now coming to the overall situation in Mumbai as far as the water supply, which has been a major concern. Water supply has been the BMC has said that the water cut basically will be reduced to 10% as of now, because 3 out of 7 lakes which provide water to the city is now completely filled up, and 4 lakes are yet to be filled up. So it is expected that if rains continue, then there will be a major relief for the Mumbaikars as far as water supply is concerned. Also in Thane district, the cut of water supply has been reduced, and it is expected that if rains continue, then it will be the cut in water supply will be cancelled. So the situation in Mumbai as of now is normal. Let's see for next 24 hours as far as the speculations, basically the warnings have been concerned. So it remains to be seen that what happens later on.
Right. All right, Yogesh, stay on with us. Let's go across also now to Salman Haider, who's joining us from Patna. Salman, the flood situation there in Bihar continues to be grim and challenging. Just give us a sense of what you're seeing around you in terms of preparations being put into place and relief and rescue operations, as far as making sure that minimum loss of lives and minimum damage is caused across the state.
Relief in Muzaffarpur, Darbhanga, and also in Samastipur. where, as you mentioned, train services has also been restored between Samastipur and Darbhanga. But still, the number of panchayats, the number of flood-affected panchayats has gone up to 1,322. That means 5 more than last day. So the situation is still grim. In some places, water has receded, though. But in Munger and Bhagalpur, Ganga is rising, and also the discharge from barrage in Valmiki Nagar, Gandak barrage, is very high right now. That is why the situation is not coming to a stable state. But the rain has slackened in certain areas, so the situation is likely to be improved in next 2-3 days. Yeah, Nancy. And as far as relief operations are concerned, relief operation is going on a full swing.
Right.
And 26 NDRF and SDRF teams are engaged in those most affected areas. Yeah, Nancy.
All right. All right, Salman Haider, Yogesh Sheetal and Aditya Srivastav, thanks to all of you for joining us for the moment and sharing as far as the rain situation and the flood situation in Bihar is concerned, as far as the weather updates that we got you from these affected states. Moving on now, taking a look at the updates on COVID-19 from across the country. The recovery rate has crossed 74%, while the case fatality rate has fallen below 1.8%. Over 21 lakh people have now recovered from the virus. 62,282 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total to 21,58,946. And with this, the recovery rate currently stands at 74.3%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. One tangible outcome of this strategy is that the fatality rate has dropped to 1.89%, with 54,849 deaths recorded so far. With over 9 lakh tests being conducted each day, the number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 6,92,028, which is 23.82% of the total cases reported so far. And according to the ICMR, total number of samples tested up to the 20th is 3,34,67,237, including 8,05,985 samples tested yesterday. Aggressive testing has led to early identification and the isolation of COVID-19 positive cases. In a tweet, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare said that aggressive testing coupled with efficient clinical treatment keeps the fatality rate down. It added that testing in India has steeply increased to more than 8 lakh tests per day. And as the number of COVID-19 cases in Haryana continues to rise, the state government has announced lockdown on the weekends. Haryana's Health Minister Anil Vij took to Twitter to announce that all the shops and the offices, other than those which provide essential items, will remain closed on Saturday and Sunday. In Punjab, a series of emergency measures have already been announced, including the extension of the weekend lockdown with daily night curfew from 7 in the evening to 5 early morning in all the cities and towns. Also, a total ban on all the gatherings except weddings and funerals has also been extended across the state till the 31st. After Punjab and Haryana imposed weekend restrictions, the Chandigarh administration has also announced that shops and establishments in the Union Territory will remain closed on the weekends till further orders. The Union Territory already has an odd-even scheme in the markets, and Sukna Lake is closed on the weekends. And shifting focus now, a major fire that broke out in the Sri Salem hydroelectric power plant located on the Telangana side of the border with Andhra Pradesh, leaving 9 people dead and most of them engineers and 3 seriously injured on Friday. The deceased were trapped inside the plant when the fire broke out. The state government has announced an ex gratia payment of 50 lakh rupees to the family of the divisional engineer Srinivas Gaud, who died in the fire accident. The kin of others who lost their lives in the accident will be given 25 lakh rupees. The Chief Minister has ordered a CID probe in the entire matter. The Chief Secretary has also issued orders to additional DGP to head the CID investigation. The Chief Minister has ordered a thorough investigation and a comprehensive report to be submitted at the earliest. He also announced one job each to the families of the deceased along with the department-wise benefits. The Chief Minister directed the officials to give the best possible treatment to the injured and assured that the government will bear all the expenses. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah have offered their condolences to the bereaved families. President Kovind has tweeted, I quote, pained by the loss of lives in the tragic fire accident at Srisailam hydroelectric plant in Telangana. In this hour of grief, my thoughts are with the bereaved families. I wish speedy recovery to the injured, unquote. Describing the Srisailam hydroelectric plant fire tragedy as deeply unfortunate, Prime Minister Modi has written on Twitter, I quote, the fire at the Srisailam hydroelectric plant is deeply unfortunate. My thoughts are with the bereaved families. I hope those injured recover at the earliest, unquote. And moving on now, the Health Ministry has tweeted that India has crossed the milestone of 1 million COVID-19 tests a day. More than 10 lakh people tested in the last 24 hours. So there you have it. Of course, the milestone that has been reached there. As far as testing is concerned, India crossing the milestone of 1 million COVID-19 tests a day. And this is, remember, of course, India's strategy of aggressive testing, treating and tracking, which has in fact led to tackling COVID-19 pandemic in the country being a success. And clearly the 3 T's that are very important as far as tackling the COVID-19 challenge is concerned. Moving on now, the National Highways Authority of India, a PSU under the Ministry of Road and Transport, has developed a mobile app, Harit Path, to facilitate the creation of green highways across the country. The application will also be used to monitor location, growth, species, details and maintenance activities, targets and the achievements of each of the PSU's field units for every plant under the highway plantation projects. Harit Path was inaugurated by the Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari. The National Highway Authority of India had also recently undertaken a nationwide plantation drive, Harit Bharat Sankalp, under which it planted over 25 lakh plants in 25 days along the stretches of the national highways across the country. The highway contractors have been made accountable for proper upkeep and the maintenance of the plantations. And under a unique initiative, the payment to the contractors for the plantation work has also been linked with the growth of the plants. Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated across the country today. The festival marks the birth anniversary of Lord Ganesha, who is prayed to and remembered before the beginning of any new endeavor. Public gatherings will be avoided and people are asked to immerse the idols in their home. Ganesh Chaturthi this year is all said to be celebrated with eco-friendly means. President Ramnath Kovind has greeted the nation on Ganesh Chaturthi. He tweeted, I quote, Ganpati Bappa Moria, greetings on Ganesh Chaturthi. The festival is an expression of people's enthusiasm, joy and forbearance in taking every section of society along. May Vignaharta help us all to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic and bless us with a happy and healthy life. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that Lord Ganesha is revered as an embodiment of wisdom, prosperity and good fortune. He said people invoke Lord Ganesha and seek his blessings to remove obstacles in the path before they begin anything new. And Prime Minister Modi has tweeted, I quote, greetings on the auspicious festival of Ganesh Chaturthi. May the blessings of Bhagwan Shri Ganesh always be upon us. May there be joy and prosperity all over, unquote. And in the national capital, Delhi, priests also offered prayers at Ganesh temple in Connaught Place. Rituals are being carried out in small scale and devotees are not allowed to gather inside the temple premises. The government has issued guidelines and instructions for authorities concerned on Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations. The government has prohibited the setting up of pandals, idol immersion in the public places and large congregations. The celebrations have begun in the city with restrictions in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. The morning Aarti was performed at the Siddhivinayak temple in Dwarka on the auspicious occasion. And moving on now, taking a look again at the COVID-19 updates from across the world. Over 2.3 crore COVID-19 cases have been reported globally, with more than 8 lakh deaths. As many as 1.5 crore people have recovered from the virus so far. The COVID-19 cases have been shooting up in the US, making it the worst hit by the pandemic for several weeks now. The US has over 57 lakh cases of the virus, with the death toll at more than 1.7 lakh. The US is followed by Brazil, which has recorded more than 1 lakh deaths and over 35 lakh cases. And talking in terms of the COVID-19 death toll worldwide, the US and Brazil are followed by Mexico with a death toll of 59,000. And the World Health Organization has said it hopes that the world will get rid of the COVID-19 pandemic in less than 2 years, faster than it took for the Spanish flu. The WHO chief said the world now has access to advanced technology which can finish the pandemic in less than 2 years. The Director General also said that several countries are experiencing fresh outbreaks after a long period with little or no transmission, and the pandemic is a reminder that health and the economy are inseparable. Moving on now to sports news, Romelu Lukaku suffered the agony of an own goal that handed Sevilla their 6th Europa League triumph on Friday night. Sevilla FC beat Inter 3-2 in a thrilling match and maintained their perfect record in the finals of the competition. The drama began when Sevilla defender Diego Carlos fouled Romelu Lukaku for an Inter penalty and ended when Lukaku deflected Carlos's kick into his own net. Lukaku gave the Italian side an early lead from the penalty spot for his 34th goal of the season, extending his record of scoring in consecutive Europa League games to 11. Luc de Jong scored 2 headers to put Sevilla into the lead. Inter were level when Diogo Godin nodded in to make a 2-all in the 35th minute. Carlos then went from villain to hero in the 74th minute. Lukaku unintentionally deflected Carlos's overhead kick into his own net to give Sevilla the decisive goal. It was the first trophy in the managerial career of Sevilla boss Julian Lopetegui, whose side are unbeaten since February, a run of 21 games. The last 9 Europa Leagues all have been won by Spanish or English teams. Sevilla have won 4, Chelsea 2, and Atletico Madrid and Man U 1 each. The last Italian team to win were Parma in '99. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the news. Thanks for being with us.